just a moment ago set an 18.4 to take pole position for the time being by about half a tenth.
Yeah, it's been a pretty great session so far. A little bit out of it, to be honest, just trying to get on board with some of these guys and look at how they've been able to handle the conditions. But it's coming down to crunch time. I think STX and Valid Newell just posted a pretty good time at P4. We'll see how the Aston Martin guys do. They had a double podium the first race of the year and then struggled in Suzuka, so we'll see if they can bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome to our YouTube viewers. We're now live on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Apologies for the delayed start. Definitely my fault on that, so apologies. But my name's Chaddy Duck and I'm here with Perry the Dog, and we're just coming up into the final few minutes of this qualifying session at the Canadian Grand Prix for round 3 of the Silver Class Championship in season 12. We are running strict corner cutting here tonight, the first time this season that we are so that means that in qualifying, any laps with a corner cutting or an extension will be invalidated, and then of course in the race time penalties can be applied to drivers who corner cut multiple times. So that's going to be something, an extra factor for these drivers to take into account for this race. But so far we've got 14 drivers having set a time. Halberg has retired from the session. Sirra and Tafour, the only two drivers at the moment yet to set a lap time. And it's currently Rafa Hulk on pole position with a 1 minute 18.474 lap time.
Yeah, right now riding on board on my end the Mercedes of the new guy. I'm just going to call him Dream. He's right now in P7, but putting together a solid first two sectors, headed towards the final chicane of World Champions at the moment. Broomhandle, another great lap. They're pretty close at the top, just 0.02 of a second separating the top two guys.
And then Rafa Holt comes back straight away and improves by a couple of tenths. So it's a nice little battle hotting up at the moment for pole position in this qualifying session. We've seen STX, Broomhandle, Rafa Hulk all leading the standings, and now Dream, the new driver, has put himself up into second place as well. So things getting really competitive here towards the end of this session. Yellow flag in the first sector, looks like that's for the Mercedes of, I'm trying to find it, I think that is Dream in fact on his warm down lap. But we've got Valid Newell aka Mako coming up to the line, and he does not improve on his previous best time, stays in 6th place.
Wiener Dranks jumps up to fastest. Wow, he picked up about 0.3 in that final sector. So he posts a 118 flat, and that's going to be, I'd like to say it's going to be a tough lap to beat, but I think it's going to come down to who can get out the latest out of this pack. I mean, the times are just collapsing down the leaderboard. Valid Newell 0.3 down in his first sector. Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down right to whoever gets out the latest and who gets the most dry track.
Yeah, definitely, because it does seem to be getting drier and better conditions all the time. And also because in these situations, as we mentioned in Japan, you're better off putting on a slightly higher fuel load with the wet or intermediate tyres and just running a few consecutive hot laps on them, partly because the tyres just don't wear out as quickly as the dries do, but you also need to build up the temperature in the tyres as the session progresses. And that of course means as well that the fuel load is going to get lighter as the session progresses, and you can potentially set quicker lap times. Kruna is out of the session, and Juan is also out of the session as Valid Newell puts it up into second place, just a 10th off Wiener Drank's best time. And we've still got, well, a minute or so. I can't see the timer at the moment because of the yellow flag indicator.
I think we've got just under, yeah, it is right about a minute. That was Dreamsy also, he retired in the pits. Wiener Drank also, that might have been in turn 1 or 2 as Broomhandle improves but goes 4th fastest. And I think we're seeing now guys push the limits a little bit too far, make some mistakes, but overall, still pretty good session for those top drivers.
Hard to know who to follow in this situation because there's quite a few drivers here that are setting competitive times. Let's just see Camden Luca half a second up on his best as he enters the third sector. And if he can improve just a little bit more in the final sector, he might move himself up to the top of the standings. Let's see. Let's follow him through the final chicane. Wall of Champions is there on the right hand side. Looks a little bit tentative going through there, but as he comes up to the line, he does take provisional pole with a 1 minute 17.9. The first man into the 1 minute 17s. Valid Newell is going again, I think. Broomhandle's not on a lap. Syrah has invalidated. STX could be on a lap here, or has he missed it? I think he just about got out in time to have another go. The man who currently sits in 8th place.
Sir Charles doesn't improve. He got a piece of the Wall of Champions on his way by. So this is it for everybody. There's a lot of invalidations so far. I think just Valid Newell and possibly the other Aston Martin are the only two guys finishing up a true lap.
Yeah, STX is just coming through the middle sector, and he was about half a second up through the first sector, so a great start to the lap. Second sector not looking as great and locking up the fronts as he goes into the hairpin, and now entering the back straight. You have to be so tentative on the power.
His teammate Valid Newell's just 200ths down through the second sector, but had a good exit at the hairpin. Heads up to the line, nails the chicane. Gonna be close. Oh man!
Oh, so close. And then
close.
STX does not improve, and he had a big wobble coming out of the final chicane, but Valid Newell 8 thousandths of a second away from Camden Luca, away from pole position. But what a great ending to that qualifying session. Some super lap times being posted there at the end on a track which was drying up pretty dramatically. Everyone set a time except for Tafur and Halberg, who will be in the last two spots, 16th and 17th. But another good result for Camden Luca, who qualified on the front row, I remember, at the Italian Grand Prix in round 1. And yeah, another brilliant qualifying effort from him. He's going to be starting on pole for this third round of the championship, followed by Valid Newell, and then it's Wienerdrank and Rafa Hulk on the second row of the grid. But that's pretty much it in terms of times. Everyone who is able to set a time has received the checkered flag, so they can't set any further times. We're just waiting for the drivers to return to the pits or for the time to finish. And there we go, that's the end of the qualifying session for the Canadian Grand Prix, and we'll get a full rundown of the qualifying results in just a moment. So we see Camden Luca on pole from Valid Newell, 8 thousandths of a second between those two, followed by Wienerdrank, Rafa Hulk, Broomhandle rounding out the top 5, Syrah in P6, but he actually has a 5-place grid penalty, so he will be dropped to 11th. Then it's Dream, the new driver, in P7, STX in 8th place, and then it's Blin and Sir Charles and All McLaren 5th row, El Capitan in 11th place, followed by Crooner, Nico John, Rockstar, Juan in the AlphaTauri, and then we have Tafur and Halberg in the Ferrari, who did not set lap times in that session.
And I will say the 5-place grid penalty for Syrah comes with the incident saying he had a collision with Halberg, who ended up DNFing, so I wonder if that was maybe why he did not complete the session. And I do want to throw in there my vast knowledge of Formula 1. I guess it doesn't matter because it was a wet quali anyways, but even if we were in the dries and Syrah was starting P6, he would have to start on the tire he started on regardless of the grid penalty. But obviously it doesn't matter because that was a wet session. We'll all be on whatever choice of tires the drivers want.
Yeah, that was some good points there, and
they didn't really matter, but
it's good. It's good to know anyway. Nice to have some interesting information. But what do you think the tyre strategy is going to be for this race, given that these guys are starting on fresh tyres and we're in for a dry race as well?
I think Canada can be interesting because most tracks, you know, the less stops you make, the better. But Canada's pit time gained lost is not as much as you'd think. So I could see a few split strategies here between 2 stops on soft tires and then also just the easy 1 stop, medium to hards. But I would not be surprised to see a few guys maybe try to make up some spots starting on the soft tires, and looks like we do have quite a few soft runners as we start the formation lap.
Yeah, a mixture of softs and mediums, nobody opting for the hards to start off with, which I might have expected, especially towards the back, but it really is a mixed up sort of grid in that sense. It's probably a slightly more soft tyre runners for the start than medium tyre runners, and that might give those guys a pace advantage at the start of this race for maybe the first 5 laps or so, but then the medium tyres will surely become the quicker race tyre until they start to make their stops. Another thing, of course, Perry, for this race is that, as we mentioned, it is strict corner cutting tonight, so time penalties are surely going to play a factor in this race. Would you be thinking more along the lines of trying to drive a bit more cautiously to avoid time penalties, or would you just think race as normal, potentially be a little bit quicker and just take the hit of maybe 3, 6 or 9 seconds of penalties?
I think it's gotta be, the way I would do it is I would split the race up into 3 different parts. I think the first 2 parts of the race, my goal is to get as least amount of corner cuts as possible, and then set yourself up to maybe the last 7 or 8 laps, just focus on making up as much ground as possible or keeping the car on track. But no, I definitely do keep into account the fact that strict corner cutting's on. I don't want to be the guy that gets caught out by 3 seconds here, 3 seconds there.
Yeah, and of course the other thing to factor into the discussion is that a late safety car could really change the order, not just on track, but as drivers cross the line as well. Drivers without any penalties will all of a sudden find themselves at a huge advantage if there is a late safety car, which there could well be at Canada. It is known for incidents. The walls are so close around here, but we are getting ready now for the start of round 3 in the Silver Class Season 12 Championship. And we're underway in the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's Camden Luca with Valid Newell going down to the first corner. It's been a slightly better launch for Valid Newell around the outside, which becomes the inside for turn 2, and Valid Newell takes the lead away from the Williams driver Camden Luca. Wiener Drank behind is also trying to make a move up the field. Dream is there in P4. Looks like everyone has got through safely so far. Looking back a bit further down the grid, Kruner's trying to make a move on Sirra. Sirra's actually dropped back a few spots. He's missing his front wing. Perry, did you see what happened there to Sirra?
There was kind of a log jam on about P5 back. Broom handle got hit from his outside, and the wheels touched. He spun around, and then that kind of caused Sirra to lose his front wing, and I think a few other guys as well might have lost some end plates. But so Broom handle really lost out, ends up battling right now for 15th place. But yeah, it is a good clean start for most of the front runners.
Rafa Hulk is pretty close to the gearbox of Dream, the new driver here, and he gets a great launch from the final chicane. And Valid Newell setting a fastest lap that's already quicker than the pole time from qualifying. Shows you the difference of a wet track versus a dry track. But Dream held on to 4th position for the moment.
Well, I do think that Broom handle does not fit. He is a clean wing, but Sirra and Kruner are obviously forced to come in with all of that damage, and now they'll hope for a safety car and chance to get back into the race.
Yeah, and for Kruner, it's another nightmare start to a race.
Newell went off.
Oh, yes.
Newell went off. He's lost a few spots.
Has he got any damage as well? Hard to tell at the moment.
Don't think so.
Doesn't look like there's anything visual. It doesn't mean that there isn't any damage there. He might have a slightly different shade of green on that front wing. But yeah, a mistake from Valid Newell, which has cost him 3 positions. In fact, 4 positions. Oh, he's in the pits. So maybe he does have some damage on that front wing. We'll see what happens as he comes into the pit lane. Yeah, he's getting a wing change. So whatever that was for Valid Newell, it's really cost him. And he will be hoping, like Crooner and Sirra, for some safety car intervention.
A pretty good clean run up in the front. I'm surprised that Wiener Drank now running in second on those medium tires. He's able to stay up as close as he is to the rest of Camden Luca as well. So he's doing an awesome job of keeping in touching distance of the leaders.
Yeah, and it's really the top 6 all running within a second of each other, which is pretty nice to see on the broadcast, see all the cars coming through. And similarly to last week, actually, in Japan, we've got a situation with Blin and Sir Charles, the 2 McLaren drivers, sort of in the middle part of the points, where Blin is ahead of his teammate and also just in behind a train of cars towards the front of the pack as Valid Newell picks up the first penalty of the race.
Just watching Broom Handle as STX comes into the pits, must have damage, but Broom Handle has made his way back up into now 9th place. So he's had an awesome recovery drive considering he was dead last in lap 1, turn 2.
And STX has pitted for the hard tyres, and that's a very early stop, so he must have had damage to force a pit stop at this early stage. But early switch to the hard tyres, and I'm pretty sure they could get to the end of the race from here, although they'll be pretty second rate by the time the checkered flag comes around. And then he also picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So the 2 Aston Martin drivers at the moment not doing so well on the penalties front, and also they are both towards the back of the field. And Blin has got ahead of Wiener Drank for 4th.
Yeah, the McLaren drivers started in the middle of the pack, a dangerous spot, but they both made their way up the field. Wiener Drank's had a couple of moments that last lap, has seen him drop back to P5. And I haven't been talking a lot, but Camden Luca got off to a good start. He has a train of cars behind him, but still maintains a pretty safe lead. It's under a second, so he's technically under attack from P2, but he hasn't had to deal with too many challenges right now.
And Sir Charles in P6 will just need to pick up the pace a little bit here, because he's dropped off the back of this pack ever so slightly as Blin goes a bit deep into that chicane, and this might give Wiener Drank an opportunity to take that place back. Coming down to the hairpin, Wiener Drank later braking, going around the outside and reclaiming that 4th place.
Could see a battle for the lead.
Yeah, things really closing up at the front. Dream, the new driver, sitting in 2nd place, just waiting for the right moment perhaps to make a move. He's going to get DRS once more and using his overtake, and Camden Lucas sticks it in the middle of the track.
So
and then
late.
Dream with the late braking didn't really have much chance of pulling that one off, and he might lose out here. He does to Rafa Hulk and Wiener Drank. What about Blin? No, Blin isn't going to get there, so that didn't really work out for Dream.
No, way too late on the brakes. I was surprised at how late he tried to brake and thought, man, I don't think that's going to work, and sure enough it didn't. But he does a pretty good job to get it back on track, stays out of trouble, and he loses out a couple of spots, but he's still in this lead pack.
And Sir Charles has caught up again with his teammate Blin once again, sitting just in front of him, but then in front of both of them it's Dream. And this is about the point where we said that the soft tyres might start to lose their early advantage in terms of grip, and the mediums might start to be the quicker tyre at this point. So that's good news for Wienerdrank and the two McLarens, as Rafa Hulk is going to look down the inside into the final chicane and pulls that off beautifully to take the lead of the race away from Camden Luca.
Yeah, just made it look super easy. I think Camden Lucas used up his soft tires a little bit. Obviously didn't have the benefit of DRS to defend, but now he'll get DRS as long as he can stay a second behind Rafa Hulk. He picks up a 3-second penalty. He's the first one of this lead group to pick up a time penalty at the end of the race.
And with how close things are up at the front at the moment, that is probably going to lose you 4 or 5 spots for if you're Camden Luca. Even Rockstar in 7th place is not too far away from the back of this group. Looked like Dream had a bit of a moment out of the chicane before the end of the second sector, and that has promoted Blin up into P4 once again. So I don't know if that was a mistake or just an effect of the tyre wear on the soft tyres. Meanwhile, Rafa Hulk has pulled out of DRS range from Camden Luca, so he is going to be under pressure again, this time from Wienerdrank into the final chicane, and that's another position lost for the Williams.
I think Camden Luca has to do a better job. If he's watching, just maybe a little bit of an advice, but he uses a lot of ERS, and I think he's got to do a little bit better of a job of saving it up, because in this game it's extremely difficult to, once you get down to a number, it's extremely difficult to bring that back up at all. And right now he's sitting at about 15%, while most of the drivers around him are about at 50 or 60%.
Well, I just wonder if he was using it all up in those first few laps when he didn't have the DRS, but everyone else behind him did. And that might be why he's at such a disadvantage now. But he just needs to try and stay within a second of Wienerdrank in front of him, and then he'll get the benefit of the DRS on the back straight, and then he can potentially harvest a little bit of his overtake button. But Blin is at a major advantage at the moment in that sense. He's got about 70% as opposed to 20% for Camden Luca, but now with the DRS, Camden Luca is able to defend.
Blin gets an awesome exit, though. I think Camden is suffering from that tire degradation on the softs. Blin goes pretty deep. Oh, Camden forces the issue on the inside, but can't get around, and Blin finds his way up to third, and now Dream is going to go around the outside for fourth.
So at the moment, Camden Luca just losing spots left, right and centre, and Rockstar has caught up well and truly to the back of this train now. And of course, as we mentioned, Camden Luca is the only one in this front pack at the moment who has a time penalty, so that's costing him a lot as well. But currently it's Rafa Holt leading and doing a pretty good job actually on those softs to still be keeping such a strong pace. But Wienerdrank is in position here to take the lead of the race if he can get close enough into the final corner, and he's got a huge amount of overspeed coming through there, so he now leads the race.
Yeah, and you know, initially we talked about, as Camden Luca enters the pits, we talked about how that two-stop strategy might work with the soft runners, but the field is so spread out. We've had probably about 4 or 5 guys have to pit with wing changes. That's really just going to hinder their performance on these fresh tires. They're going to get to the mediums, have better lap times.
Oh, we've got a retirement and a safety car for Nip Steven, or STX, our race winner from round 1 in Italy, and just caught a glimpse of his car there out of the 3rd chicane, I think it is. But he's out of the race. 16 runners remaining in the Grand Prix, and we have a safety car on lap 9.
And this is going to spice everything up. What are our leaders going to do? I think most everybody's going on mediums from 13th on back. Sierra. This gives the back markers another chance of making their way, gaining some spots, but I think STX's issue is those hard tires just do not get enough life into them. Wiener Drink stays out, but the soft runners will get a free stop.
And
Everybody's in.
that surely is a mistake. Well, both Red Bulls are staying out. So I don't understand quite what they're doing there, but they've decided to go for track position rather than putting on a fresh set of tyres. Maybe they feel that with the safety car they can manage their tyre wear a bit for a few laps and possibly make this a one-stop race going from mediums to softs. I'm not sure at the moment, but they are currently 1-2, but a lot of drivers behind now are on completely fresh tyres.
They're on completely fresh tires. I don't understand the soft tire compound. I mean, I get maybe you don't want to put the hards on it all, but I would almost go for another set of mediums if I was Blend Machine, just because that can take me deeper into the race. I mean, on the softs, yeah, they're going to be a lot faster. You'll get a chance to run up for the lead once we go back racing, but you're going to have to come back in anyways. Instead of maybe getting a pit stop advantage on the medium tire runners at the moment, they're going to still end up having to pit again, as well as everybody in front of them. So not really sure what Tafour is doing. He just kind of came up to the alongside Rockstar and hit him.
Yeah, I saw that too. It was a bit of a strange one, and the result of that is that Rockstar has been given a 5-second penalty, I believe that was. Yeah, a 5-second penalty for Rockstar.
That was strange from Tafour. I don't know if he's just made a mistake or if that was maybe a little bit of retaliation, but nevertheless, love to see how the driver just minding his own business picks up the penalty.
Yeah, maybe retaliation for something at the start, I don't know, because Rockstar did start this race down in 14th and Tafour was in 16th, so it's possible that they were near each other at the start. Of course, Rockstar has picked up a number of positions since then, but the annoying thing for him now is that even if he was able to get that 5-second penalty retroactively removed afterwards, he's still going to have to serve it in his pit box when he does come into the pits. So either way, it's going to cost him some time. I don't know if the stewards are able to retroactively take off 5 seconds if the penalty has been served.
I don't believe they are, but I mean, I don't understand. Tafour's a lap down, and his idea of getting retribution is that. I mean, that's I don't know. The stewards will definitely have a look at it, but that's pretty low, I think.
Yeah, I mean, we'll wait and see if that is the case, that it was some kind of retaliation. We're not sure, but things have settled down since then. Tafour's just in the queue behind Rockstar, and this is one of the things about this game that's, as actually Tafour comes into the pits, he's sped into the pits as well, which usually indicates that a driver's about to retire, but that message hasn't come up yet. But I was going to say, another sort of frustrating thing about this game is that lapped cars during a safety car are not able to overtake the field and unlap themselves, so they kind of just end up being stuck in no man's land when you have a restart. And another feature, of course, of this TCR league is that ghosting is off, so you can't lap cars by just driving through them. They are actually an obstacle that you have to overcome. And when you have a safety car restart, you know, they're receiving the blue flag, so they have to get out of the way somewhere, and it just has the potential to get quite awkward for everyone, really.
Yeah, that's a good point. Didn't realize the unlapping themselves is not a thing anymore. But either way, it's definitely a learning experience, and now we'll see. I mean, 2 Red Bulls, a little bit off strategy, way older tires than everyone else. We've got a McLaren on soft tires to make a run for the lead in a few moments, and we just have a whole random mess of drivers. Some guys who I think can show a little bit better a finish and get a second chance after being caught up in instance early on in the race.
Just worth mentioning as well that Crooner, who had obviously the bad start pitting on that one, he's back in 8th place at the moment. Safety car has come in, so we are back underway in the Canadian Grand Prix, and it looks a bit like Wienerdrank didn't get a great launch off the final chicane, and that slowed his teammate down and in turn gave Rafa Hulk a sniff of an opportunity to make an overtake around the outside of turn 1, but Rockstar has held on and the order has remained the same for the time being. But back to green flag, lap 14 out of 35, and the question really now is how much further can these front 2 Red Bulls go on their 13 lap old mediums.
I don't expect them to go very far. Rafa Hulk now on the inside, tough overtaking opportunity, and he has to cut the inside of the corner to make the pass. He gets 3 seconds there.
And Blin might have a look as well. No, just waits for now.
I think Rafa Hulk played a little bit conservative. He almost had that start time perfect to pass Rockstar right at the start finish line, but he backed out of it a little bit, played it conservative. It would have been an awesome opportunity to see him try to set it in turn 1, but nevertheless makes his way into 2nd place regardless.
And we're starting to see these penalties racking up for a few drivers. Who have we got who still doesn't have one? Wienerdrank, Blin, Dream, Sir Charles, Crooner. Oh, Blin's just picked one up as I say that. And Nico John and Syrah. So how many is that now? 4, 5, 6 drivers left who are yet to pick up a penalty. So it's affecting things as we fully expected it would do. Although at the moment a couple of those penalties are 5 seconds. And as of yet it's only 3 seconds for the multiple warnings, as we see Camden Lucas. Oh, Crooner's out of the race. That was a huge crash for Crooner. I think he was reacting to Camden Luca having a moment in that chicane, and it totally just threw him into the wall on the left hand side of the track, and he's out of the race. 2nd retirement of the season. Actually, it might be his 3rd. I'm not sure if he retired in Japan or not, but just a disastrous start to this season for Crooner, and a full safety car once again. It was a virtual safety car, it was upgraded to the full safety car, and now the Red Bulls are pitting, and Wienerdrank is stuck because the McLarens are double stacking as well. Wienerdrank can't get out to his box, Rockstar can't get in, so it's ended up being a bit of a mess for Red Bull, regardless of whatever their strategy was, waiting a bit longer to come in. But now Rockstar, who also had to serve a 5-second penalty, so he has lost a heap of time. Doesn't matter so much because it's a safety car, but he has dropped right to the back to 4, has retired as well, and all of a sudden things have kicked off in this race.
Now this is, yeah, I mean, it's just a huge moment, I think, for the strategy guys now. The guys on mediums now, I don't know if they'll be able, they probably can't make it to the end, but they, you know, will be able to run to the top 5 now, top 6. We know that the Red Bulls won't be able to make it to the end on the soft tire, so I'm not exactly sure. They're obviously planning maybe another stint of softs, but yeah, just an absolute mess for the Red Bulls having to wait there, and it's unfortunate for Crooner. You were exactly right, and Camden Luca got into the wall on the outside of the exit at the end of Sector 2, and Crooner just overreacted a bit, I think, or I don't know if he maybe even ran into the back of Camden Luca and just had nowhere to go and hit the wall really hard. As Camden Luca, a little bit odd, he decides to come in. He might have wing damage.
Yeah, I would be surprised because he did clip the wall, and that is enough to give some damage. But no, he's just pitting for the soft tyres, which is an interesting choice, maybe not the right one, because we aren't even at half distance in this race, and that pretty much secures him into making another pit stop.
Yeah, I think everybody's banking on the fact that we might see another stop, but those guys are throwing away a lot of track position. I mean, outside of the Red Bulls who pretty much had to come in, those guys are throwing away a lot of track position for those soft tires. And Canada is a pretty difficult place to pass. There's only, I think, really 2 good passing opportunities, so I'm not exactly sure. I guess we'll see how well they can make it work. Wiener Drank will be the lead guy in that strategy group in 10th place, but yeah, we'll just wait and see. These guys still, though, I mean, the mediums aren't too old. They've been under caution for most of their heat cycle, so they should be pretty fresh.
Yeah, I would imagine that pretty much anyone on the mediums from here can get to the end. Valid Newell and Juan are the only guys opting for the hard tyres, and I think that might be part of the reason why we've seen people going onto the softs from the mediums, is just the reluctance to use the hard tyres because they are so slow and just not very useful in this game compared to other compounds. But we are now waiting on Rafa Hulk to drop the hammer, and there he goes, setting off once again to kick off lap 18 and get things back to green flag racing. And he got a really good launch away from Dreamsy, however you might want to pronounce that. But Valid Newell immediately looking to get onto the attack, close up behind El Capitan in the Ferrari, and surprisingly looking to have better pace on those hard tyres at the moment.
Man, just riding on board Blinn, he almost had a Lance Stroll moment where he gets squeezed to the outside wall with Halberg. Oh, and now they might go 3 wide for 8th place. Halberg on the outside. Wiener Drake front row seat. He'll have to back off, almost run into the back of the Ferrari, crashing him through the corner.
And look at Sir Charles as well, right behind these two, as Wiener Drank goes down the inside into the chicane, and Sir Charles on the exit has got through as well, up into 10th place. And now Blinn going past Nico John for 7th position, so the McLarens making a good surge right after the safety car period. Rafa Hulk has built up a 1.7 second lead already and set a fastest lap, so the man who won the race in Japan is staking a claim to making it 2 in a row if he can stay on those medium tyres till the end of the race. But that lead is almost up to 2 seconds already. Valid Newell went a bit wide in the first chicane, and he's got Syrah all over the back of him now, and Blinn already closing in on this battle.
Blinn is just flying on those medium tires back through the field. Rafa Hulk had an awesome start. He timed it perfectly, just exiting the chicane to get on the accelerator and just pulled away. He's got that penalty to work with. Dreamsy's been clean so far, but yeah, he's doing a terrific job pulling away out front as Sierra goes through Valid Newell for 5th, and El Capitan now under attack from Sierra in 4th place.
Yeah, it feels like El Capitan at the moment is the one holding these guys up, which is why they're all running so close together. It's 3 laps after a safety car when DRS is enabled. Oh, and another big crash. Valid Newell is out of the race. And so, oh my goodness, driver's nearly hitting him there as he's stationary on the pit straight. And he definitely had contact with another driver. I don't know if that was Blinn who was behind him, as we have a 3rd safety car of the Canadian Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's just been an absolute wild race. Rockstar had a moment as well right before that, so he's got a kind of a free pit stop. But yeah, another safety car, and now I'm not really sure what I would do in this spot. I mean, normally I don't think the mediums would last that long, but now, I mean, they're only going to be doing about 14 or 15 laps, I think, of green, so we'll see what the leaders decide to do.
Yeah, Rafa Hulk just coming round the back straight, and we'll see here if he pits or not. I think you've got to at this point. Yeah, he does come in. But Dream is going to carry on. And that might not be such a bad decision for him, because he is penalty free. And there's a few guys that are going to be behind him now with time penalties. So if he's able to hold other guys up, and whilst leading the race of course, then it could put him in a great position towards the end. Sira stays out, he's also penalty free. Blin stayed out as well. He does have a penalty, but he has slightly fresher medium tyres than Sira and Dream. Wienerdrank stays out on his 5-lap-old softs. Surely they're not going to be able to get to the end of the race. And then it's Sir Charles in 5th, and then behind him it's pretty much 8 drivers, I think, who from here with their tyres should be able to get to the end.
I mean, it's yeah, it just recycles everything up. They should make it to the end easily, I think, from now. But Valid Newell are just hitting the wall of champions. Yeah, like you said, I didn't really see the incident, so it might have had a little bit of help. It might have just been the hard tires, but regardless, I feel like we've been here, for quite a while. I think we got a late start to qualifying, and so it just feels like we've been sitting at Canada forever, and these safety cars make the race just feel like it's going on forever.
Yeah, and we also have at least a couple of European drivers that race in this league, so it's already going to be well into the early hours of the morning for those guys, and a safety car fueled race is just making their evening drag out even more. So apologies to those guys, as Blim picks up a 5-second penalty for contact with Wienerdrank, who are next to each other in the safety car queue. Didn't quite see what happened there. Maybe that'll be one that's appealed after the race.
Yeah, it very easily could. I think that was one of those where Wienerdrank might have accidentally run into the back of Blin or something.
So it's lap 22 out of 35, so 13 laps to go at the end of this one. Dream on 11-lap-old mediums and Sira on 12-lap-old mediums. Maybe we could just ride on board with them and see how their tyres are looking. Sira's look okay, although he should try and avoid weaving onto the grass while he's trying to warm up his tyres. And Dreams look okay too. I'm not sure if they can get to the end on those medium tyres around here. It's going to be pretty touch and go towards the end, especially with guys on much fresher tyres coming up behind them. But the safety car is coming in once again, and Dream is really backing up the pack here, trying to make sure he gets as clean a restart as possible as he enters the final chicane. And we are green for the 4th time tonight in the Canadian Grand Prix, and it is Dream leading from Sira.
Great restart from Dream, and it's interesting because we had a fairly clean race early, and now safety cars have bred more safety cars, but everyone seems to be pretty spaced out at the moment. Camden Luca up into the 9th place. It's really the only action we've got at the moment.
Dream working hard to pull out a gap, hopefully to open the gap out to more than a second, as Juan has had a spin and lost some front wing in the middle sector. Those hard tyres just seem to be really difficult to build up any temperature into them, especially on a restart, as Nico John is on the back of Halberg for 11th place. But Dream has opened up a gap. It's over a second already, and he's got another lap still before DRS is enabled. So Dream looking to be in a strong position. Sira is the one currently coming under pressure. He's got his mirrors full of an orange and blue car that we of course know is a McLaren.
top two guys, I think they've done a pretty good job considering their tire age, but so long, there really probably isn't a huge difference between those guys and the rest of the media runners.
And Rafa Hulk, who was leading before that safety car, and he's so close to the wall there on the right hand side, but he's sort of leading the pack of cars that did pit under that safety car. He's in 6th at the moment, but the problem he's got is that everyone in front of him is so close together still that they're all going to be getting DRS. It's going to make it especially difficult for him to make overtakes, as we see Blin and Sirra moving over to the right hand side on the back straight to try and break the toe and defend his position if he needed to. But DRS is enabled once again, so maybe now we'll start to see some more overtaking.
We should give a few drivers, more specifically Lynn, an opportunity to make a run at Sierra at the moment. Everybody else will just be kind of at a DRS train.
It is super close in this group, from Sirra down to Rafa Hulk, who's as close to Sir Charles as anyone on track is at the moment.
Lynn got really wide out there, almost smacked the wall. The Wiener drank to be right behind the McLaren exiting the hairpin.
And Sirra is going to be dumping his battery here to try and hold on. He's going to be charged down by Blin and Wienerdrank coming up to the final chicane, and Wienerdrank looking as if he was trying to make a bit of a move on Blin, but there was no room. And these guys, this group of 5 cars just running so close together. Blin thought about it, and Rockstar setting some good pace at the moment. He's currently sitting in 9th, but if he can keep up that kind of pace, he could find himself in this battle towards the end of the race. Dreamer's disconnected from the lead of the race, and with the AI settings, that is going to lose him time. So we could be about to see the lead changing here. Sirra's closed in by a few tenths, and behind him, Wienerdrank goes for it down the inside of Blin into that chicane. Blin had to cut the corner to hold on to 3rd place. And Sir Charles is right there as well, 3rd down to 5th, so close together. 2 McLarens and a Red Bull into the hairpin. Sir Charles looking around the outside of Wienerdrank, and they're going to be side by side coming onto the back straight. DRS, of course, for both of them. Who has the edge here? Wienerdrank is pulling in front slightly, and Sir Charles backs out as well in order to avoid any kind of contact there. But Sirra is going to take the lead from Dream's disconnected car down into turn 1 on lap 27, and then Blin and Wienerdrank are so close behind the Mercedes with the red X, which of course means that the car has disconnected, or the driver has disconnected from the session, and that's just going to add another layer of complexity to this battle, because the drivers are essentially driving against an AI.
He's just going to be very unpredictable, if you will, being an AI car. On my screen, just keeps bobbing and weaving around. Blin makes it around to go up to 2nd. That's bought Sirra a little bit of time, not enough to break DRS. That's just unfortunate for Dreams, who is now just his AI car until he can find a way back into the session. I don't know if he has another invite, but is just falling down the field.
Well, on this game you are able to still use your original invite to rejoin a session. You don't lose that invite. So Dream, if you're listening and you are aware of what I'm saying, then please use your original invite to get back into the session, as Rafa Hulk now is making his move on Sir Charles for 5th place, but Sir Charles is not in the mood to give up, and it's so close between them. Rafa Hulk right on the edge of the track there. Sir Charles defends it and stays in 5th place for the time being, and these two are coming up to the back of Dream in the disconnected Mercedes, and Sir Charles just pushing Dream going through the chicane, and then Rafa Holt got caught up in it as well. Oh, and Blin's got through into the lead of the race.
Blin has got through Wienertrank, about put it in the wall right behind Sierra. Oh, and everything just seems to be going off. Sir Charles still stuck behind Dreamsy's AI, and then he's got just an absolute gaggle of cars, 5, I believe, right behind him. Wienertrank gonna go around the outside into the chicane. Oh, he makes it stick. Oh, great move from Wienertrank. Sierra gets an awesome run though in the exit. It'll still be side by side heading into turn 1.
Sierra fighting for all he's worth, going side by side, but I was going to say the superior soft tyres, but Wienerdrank's been on those for 13 laps. They should be dead at this point, but he's still going, and he picks up a 3-second penalty. I think that's his second. So despite the fact that Sierra has dropped a couple of positions, I think he's still on course to potentially win this race as long as he can stay close enough to Blin and Wienerdrang. Oh yeah, easily. Blin 11 seconds of penalties. Dream is back in the session, but yeah, Blin 11 seconds of penalties, Wienerdrang 8 seconds. Although if there are 5-second penalties involved in that, maybe they'll try and get those removed afterwards. So many possible permutations still in this race. Dream still losing positions. I don't know if he's actually taken control of his car yet, as Camden Luca goes past, and now Camden Luca trying to go down the inside of Rockstar into the final chicane. Rockstar braking later. Oh my goodness, it's so close. It's so close between these guys, and we have seen some fantastic side-by-side action in this, well, since the last safety car.
So I don't know how good you are at math, Chatty, but Blin is gonna probably get those 5 seconds removed, and so that puts him at 6 seconds worth of penalties. Sierra, Sir Charles still clean. How will they end up with these guys that are slowly pulling away from him?
Well, I've had a bit of a glitch, and I've completely lost my intervals between the front 4, so at the moment I've no idea actually how far Sierra and Sir Charles are, although visually it looks like they would be close enough to overtake Blin. Wienerdrang might be another story, because he only has 3 seconds worth of corner cutting penalties. He picked up a 5-second penalty for something else, and that could also potentially be removed after the race. But yep, still no intervals, so quite hard to say at the moment who's really in what position. They're coming back now, and well, I think Sierra is okay, but he's just got to keep this pace up for another 5 laps.
It'll be difficult for him, I think, to make it on those 21 lap old medium tires.
Yeah, 21 lap old mediums and 15 lap old mediums for Wienerdrang. They must just be absolutely screaming at him right now. You can see some dark patches appearing on those tyres in the braking zones, which I think is sort of a visual indicator that they are pretty much cooked. But he's not going to pit at this point. 5 laps to go. You've just got to just go for it to the end of the race.
Definitely. Once we get a safety car, and Camden Luca has spun. Oh, and El Capitan almost got Camden Luca as he flew by him.
Broomhandle almost looking to overtake Sir Charles into turn 1. Rafa Hulk has recovered some of the ground he lost from that earlier incident where he hit the back of Sir Charles. He's back into 6th place. Broomhandle, Rafa Hulk and Rockstar all with penalties. Dream is now coming back into things, having taking control of his car again. This is a chance for Sir
Oh!
Charles. Oh, what's happened? Oh, Rafa
Rafa
Hulk is
Hulk's
out.
lost the back end. He's just lost the back end. Wow, we do get a
say-
safety car. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's a big crash. Oh, El Capitan's just driven into the stationary car of Rafa Hulk. Why did he do that? He's damaged his front wing for sure. Oh, goodness me. Safety car, lap 32. It's going to be lap 33 when the drivers come round. And that... well, that surely from here, Perry, means that Syrah and Sir Charles are going to finish 1-2, barring any more late drama.
Most definitely. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised maybe one or two of them didn't try to pit, but again, why would throw away the positions as the two Williams now come in, but they've got little to nothing to lose back in 8th and 9th place. El Capitan is fortunate to still be in the race. We'll need a new front wing.
4 safety cars tonight. Unbelievable. I don't know what the TCR record is for safety cars in a season. I don't even know if that kind of information has been tracked over the 12 seasons of TCR. Probably not, but I'm sure that Silver Class in season 12 is on the way to setting that record.
The only person who might know that is the guy in the lead right now.
That's quite true. Yeah, maybe we'll ask Blinn if he gets up onto the podium if he knows.
The safety car's coming right in, so these back markers are not going to be able to catch the pack.
No, and the 2 laps of racing we're going to get, so there won't be any DRS. So if anyone's planning on an overtake, they are just going to have to send it somewhere, probably into the hairpin or the final chicane. But here we go. It's a 2-lap dash to the finish, and Blinn leads on track, although with the penalties it's probably Syrah's race to lose from here. But what are we going to see unfold in the next 2 or 3 minutes? And Blinn has already opened up a gap to Wienerdrank of more than a second. Syrah in 3rd, Sir Charles in 4th, Broomhandle 5th, and then Rockstar Dream sitting in 7th, and he still doesn't have any penalties, so it could be that he ends up getting the final podium spot. And look at some of the lifespan on some of these tyres. 24 laps on the mediums for Syrah, 18 laps on the softs for Wienerdrank. How he has managed that, I do not know.
We've had 3 safety cars on them, so they're not getting a tremendous amount of use. You are right; they've got to be feeling it at this point.
Yeah, definitely. Final lap of the race. Is a puncture on this last lap within question? We'll find out, but it's still Blinn from Wienerdrank, Syrah and Sir Charles. Now if Blinn can get his 5-second penalty removed, then he would still have 6 seconds worth of corner cutting penalties. So either way, Syrah and Sir Charles are in position to be 1-2.
They are pretty close on track as well. Maybe Sir Charles might understand that this is really a battle for the win, and that might get aggressive here on Syrah. Oh,
yeah, he goes for it down the inside.
Oh.
Sir Charles.
Oh, he did it perfectly.
He's got him. Sir Charles, is that going to win the race? Broomhandle's got through ahead of Syrah as well, but I think he has a time penalty. What is going to happen on this run down to the final chicane on the final lap? Broomhandle's going to go for it down the inside of Sir Charles. Sir Charles holds off that charge. Blinn has crossed the line in 1st place. Wienerdrank is in 2nd, and Sir Charles wins the Canadian Grand Prix from Syrah and Broomhandle. And Blinn drops to 5th. Wiener Drank down to 6th. Rockstar up in 4th place. What a crazy race. What a crazy finish. And Sir Charles with an overtake on the final lap to secure the victory. Wow, unbelievable finish.
I mean, what a stand from Sir Charles. I just did not really worry about the consequences, just went for it. And he actually got the car, slowed down and stopped perfectly on the inside, and then just had the inside line. Sierra didn't have anywhere to go for it, and I mean, just a beautiful run from Sir Charles. He kept his clean, kept the penalties away, and a heads up getting the win. Talk about a drive.
Yeah, incredible. And I wonder if into that final chicane, because Broomhandle was trying to overtake him on the inside, and if he maybe was one warning away from a penalty, going side by side into the final corner could easily have triggered that. So I'm sure the nerves were jangling there for Sir Charles. But what a move. What a way to finish off a hectic Canadian Grand Prix. 4 safety cars. I don't know how many different leaders. Definitely a few time penalties. One McLaren took the checkered flag first, and the other one is on the top step of the podium as the winner. And hopefully we will hear from our top 3 in a moment. I'm sure Perry is getting the invites sent out, but let's just run through the results that the game has given us at least, and then we'll worry about penalties and shifting positions later. So Sir Charles wins the Canadian Grand Prix from Syrah. Broomhandle, 3rd step on the podium for him, and then Rockstar in 4th, Blinn in 5th. He finished 1st on track but down to 5th with his penalties. Wiener Drank in 6th place. Dream, the new driver, down in 7th with no penalties. Nico John in 8th, Camden Luca in 9th, El Capitan in 10th, Juan finishing 11th, and then Halberg in P12th. And Rafa Hulk is classified as a finisher, although he retired, of course, around lap 30 or lap 31, but he does technically finish this race in 13th place. But oh my goodness, what a race. What a crazy finish. And I think we are starting to get the podium drivers in with us, so we'll just wait a moment. I think I saw that we had Sir Charles and we have Broomhandle, so we're just waiting on Syrah to hopefully join us as well here in the booth. But well, actually we'll start with Broomhandle, who did finish in 3rd at the end of all that. Broom, congratulations on the podium. I'm a little lost for words. I don't really know quite what to say at this point, so I'm going to just say, how was your race?
Epic. I think that's the word I can say, really. I'm really happy with the performance today, especially since I spun at the first corner when it was last. To finish on the podium is quite an achievement. But yeah, it was a great race, really was. Yeah, just got to say a big thank you, really, to all the drivers out there. That was amazing racing. And Charles, I tried as hard as I could to try and get that P1, I guess it would be. Yeah, congrats to the win as well, too.
Yeah, that was a tense moment there towards the end, because I was thinking maybe if Sir Charles was close to getting a penalty, then going side by side through the last chicane could well have triggered that. So certainly very close. But also, Broom, I think you finished up with just the one time penalty. Was that right? 3 seconds in the end?
Yep.
Yeah. So how did you find that tonight? With this, we're using strict corner cutting for the first time on F1 2021. So how was it managing that throughout the race?
To be honest, actually, it was really good. I really was happy with it. I know on the previous game, the penalties on this particular track was quite different, and it was not very good. But I was really happy with the choice of strict, to be honest, because regular you can cut a lot of corners for around here, and it was not bad at all. I think I only got the one penalty on just one curb, really, and that was turn 6, I think it was. But yeah, I was really happy with that penalty, with the strict corner cutting instead of the regular, and it provided some great racing. It really did.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant job. Perry, anything for Broom?
I mean, just what were your thoughts? Turn 1, you spun on the inside, had a little contact, and I guess what was your strategy at that point looking forward, and how did that pan out for you?
Well, at the start, there was unfortunately nowhere to go. I was trying to make a move into turn 1 because I saw an opportunity to do so, but there was just nothing I could really do to avoid the contact. I feel sorry to any drivers that I did hit, but really I didn't know what else I could do. But yeah, going forward from that, to be honest, I didn't really have a strategy that I had planned. I knew I was going to go for the soft, medium strategy, but then on, I didn't really change anything from there. And really, what saved me to get onto the podium was that that choice to come into the pit lane exactly when the safety car came out, and that really helped me to fight for the positions, which was great to see because I thought my race was going to be over after the contact, but it turned out not to be.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the podium.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Absolutely, congratulations to you. Did we get Syrah, Perry? Did he join us?
I've invited him. I haven't really heard from him. I said something in the chat. He didn't respond. So
yeah, okay.
He's probably out.
Never mind then. We'll go to the man of the hour, the race winner, who took it into the hairpin on the final lap. Sir Charles, congratulations! What a drive, penalty free. Overtake on the final lap to essentially win the race, although it wasn't for the lead on track, but of course with the penalties it worked out that way. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, my heart's still beating. Yeah, that was pretty intense the whole way through. I mean, there wasn't much break. I was in some sort of DRS train pretty much the entire race, and didn't really have too many long green flag runs, so it always seemed like there was something happening. But yeah, that was pretty intense for pretty much the entire race, really.
Can you just talk us through that move you made on the final lap, and just what your thoughts were around that, and whether you knew or not if that move was for essentially the win of the race?
Yeah, I was definitely aware that was for the win, because I knew Wiener drank had a penalty, and knew Broom had essentially 6 seconds of penalties. He actually had an extra 5 seconds worth of penalties from when someone kind of clumsily ran into the back of him. So he'll hopefully get that removed, and if he does, it should be a double podium for McLaren. If I'm correct looking at the results, so fingers crossed that happens. But yeah, I was right before that last safety car, I was lining Sierra up. He was really struggling and had no ERS left, so I thought he was gonna be an easy overtake. But yeah, that last move, I just it's kind of the same mentality that got me in trouble in Italy, really. Also on Sierra, ironically enough. I knew he'd probably be using his ERS on the straight, so I kind of wanted to just take him by surprise in a place where he wouldn't expect it, because I figured he'd probably be expecting me to either attack going into the chicane before the hairpin, or going down towards the Wall of Champions chicane. So I just wanted to do something to really take him by surprise. That's what I did. I just kind of pulled the trigger on it, and there was a little bit of contact, but I think it was all fair. I mean, at least I know there's a lane on the outside when I was on exit, and we both went pretty deep into the braking zone. So yeah, that's kind of how that was. And then final run to the chicane, broom handle really gave me a heart attack there, because I was like, I knew he had 3 seconds of penalty. I'm just like, no, just back off. And I was just, so I'll apologize to Broom. I hope he doesn't watch my live stream. I might have said some unkind things in that moment, but regardless, good race to you, Broom. Yeah, I was pretty pumped when I crossed the line. It's, yeah.
Yeah, and with the penalties, obviously you didn't have any, but were you close with the warnings? Because that was
Yeah.
a situation I've been in before, with like no penalties coming down to the final chicane, and someone's trying to overtake you, and you kind of think, well, I don't want to just give it up, but at the same time, if I run wide and get a penalty, then I'm going to be pissed, essentially.
Yeah, I had 2 warnings, pretty much, the last 10 laps. So that was the thing. I really couldn't attack those chicanes really well towards the end there. So yeah, that just made everything even more stressful, because I had to really be cautious, and then at the same time I had people breathing down my neck, and then I was trying to line up and move at the same time. So there's a lot going on towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Perry, anything for Sir Charles?
I mean, yeah. How did you manage to, you had the penalties. You didn't have any penalties. You had the 2 warnings. But I mean, how is this the first real race you've done in strict corner cutting here in this game? And how does this game kind of compare to past games in terms of strict corner cutting?
I think it's definitely kind of like Brewmere, so I think it's definitely a little bit more lenient than F1 2020. But yeah, that's another thing. That's always kind of been one of my strengths. That usually when they're, especially back the last time I was full time back in season 9, I was able to steal a few podiums by not having penalties. So that's something I've always kind of been good at. So I knew I wasn't necessarily the fastest today, but I knew like if there was a late safety car and I had no penalties, I'd be in a really good spot. So it just so happened that it worked out that way.
Awesome. Well, congrats on the win, and look forward to seeing what you can do the rest of the season.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Sir Charles and Broomhandle, who joined us here, and also to Syrah, who finished in 2nd place but didn't join us for the interviews, but he was also penalty free. So good job from him as well, and from all the drivers tonight. That was a really dramatic and exciting race to watch, certainly for me, I'm sure for Perry as well, and hopefully for you guys watching the stream as well. So please do leave it a like, and thanks for everyone who's been sending in comments, by the way. I was keeping an eye on them throughout the race, just didn't really have a moment to kind of acknowledge those comments that were coming in. We certainly had a lot of support for Rafa Hulk, so it was a shame when he eventually retired from the race. But that's pretty much it for round 3 in the silver class in season 12. 3 races so far, 3 different winners. It was STX in Monza, and it was, oh, I'm drawing a blank. Who was it? It was Rafa Hulk, sorry, in race 2, and then Sir Charles tonight. So without having done the math yet, I'm pretty sure that championship battle is going to be pretty close at the moment, with quite a few drivers up near the front. But thank you so much to everyone for watching. Just a quick shout out to our affiliate sponsor, Fanatec. You can use the link down in the description to go to the Fanatec website and buy all the racing gear that you need from there, and if you use the link, it'll help out the league as well. So shout out to those guys. Thank you to all the drivers, all the stewards, everyone involved with TCR for all the work that you do. Really makes this league the force that it is in our 12th season. And also thank you to my co-commentator tonight, Perry. What a race.
Yeah, what a race! It sets up an exciting rest of the week in terms of gold and platinum class races tomorrow and Thursday. So you don't want to miss those. And I wish you the best of luck, Shaddy, on Thursday. I myself will be gone tomorrow and Thursday, so I will try to catch up what I can on YouTube and Twitch. But nevertheless, should be a fun time.
Yeah, absolutely, and thank you for bringing that up, because of course it will be Golden Class tomorrow night, 8:45 Eastern Time, and then Platinum Class here at the Canadian Grand Prix on Thursday night, 8:45 Eastern Time. And you can catch us on YouTube and Twitch. We've recently launched a Twitch channel, Trinity Racing, and we are now posting all of our races on both platforms, as we have been tonight. Apologies again for the slightly late start on this race, but boy, it was well worth the wait. So yeah, until next time, thank you very much to everyone for watching again. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to see more from Trinity Competitive Racing, and until tomorrow night in the Golden Class, I will wish you all a very good evening.